Greetings. Just further discussion to do with the disappearance of Cleo Smith. The topic is roaming predators. Okay, so not someone who has deliberately set out to abduct Cleo because Cleo in particular was targeted. This time I just want to talk about the possibility of a roaming predator and someone that has chosen this remote region because of the opportunities. Okay, lots of children running around, naked children, children in swimming togs, relaxed parents, logistical reasons such as police hundreds of miles away, right? So why am I bringing this up? Well, on October the 4th, in an area called Shark Bay, there was an incident. So Shark Bay, it's 4.5 hours drive from Quabba Blowholes, but it's not 4.5 hours directly south. It's not quite that far away, but you drive down from the Blowholes past Carnarvon, down a little bit further, and then you circle nearly halfway up again, right? So it's a long drive, but you're not really going that far. And in Australia, we have this Royal Automobile, this motoring body. They have resorts around the country for travellers to stay in. They offer insurance and that sort of thing. And there's a resort run there called Monkey Mia. So the incident on October the 4th, there are two young boys. The father of one of them is supervising. They've gone into the ablution block. So this is at a place where there are utility blocks, okay? There's a lot more infrastructure than there is at Quabba Blowholes. So father's standing sort of sentry, I guess, maybe at the door or just outside, while the two young boys are inside showering. One of them was distressed to find that there was a man with a phone filming him over the partition of the shower cubicles, right? So the mother of one of the boys, she's called the police and reported this incident, but this perpetrator has left. This pervert has skedaddled out of there before the police can make it. The police didn't turn up until the next day, October the 5th. Okay, so this remoteness, this logistical situation might be why a predator could choose to travel up and down this area of the coast in Western Australia. And perhaps he's wound his way up to Quabba Blowholes, and this is where he has seen Chloe. Now, Cleo, I'm so sorry, Cleo. You might be thinking that, hey, he's getting images of an 8-year-old boy. This is quite different to someone. That means he's gay, doesn't it? You know, why is he wanting to take a little girl child? With pedophilia, more so than hebephilia. So hebephilia, when the children are pubescent and sort of just around in a certain age bracket, right? And then, you know, people also move on to preferring a particular age group. But with pedophilia, when you're talking about prepubescent children, and the younger the children, you know, these children are, the more likely it is that the pedophile doesn't have a gender preference. So for an opportunist, they're not selecting children just because they're a boy or a girl. There's the opportunity there, you know, for example, just to be in a shower block waiting for innocent children to come in so that they can film them on their phone. Or, you know, when they do see a young child such as Cleo, and someone who attracts them, who they think they've got a chance to abduct, that you know, they will take it. So gender isn't the issue that you might think it is. You might think, well, wanting to have images of a boy on film is not the same as wanting to, you know, actually take someone, harm them, and dispose of them. Okay? So a pedophile who is using child pornography, using these images, studies, statistics, research, whatever, what does it tell us? It tells us that by the time people are using, you know, say, child pornographic images, graphic images, reminds you of Access Graphics, doesn't it? Whether they're recording it themselves or whether they're accessing it somehow, the statistics are they've already committed these acts in actuality, okay, and then they're seeking out ways to maybe propagate their thoughts and feelings about it. So this is just one thing. I did find it interesting though, because of course there are a lot of these myths and legends, and indeed these real incidents that have occurred around Carnarvon, around the Quabba blowholes. I've talked about them before. Instances where a 9-year-old girl was asked to get into someone's car 7 years ago, an instance of something else happening 10 years ago, etc., etc. And these things would be on the minds of people like Ellie and Jake, who've grown up there their whole life. Ellie, as a teenager, would have heard warnings about such things. But the police, well, Detective Superintendent Rob Wild seemed to address this in a way, saying, look, we are looking into this type of incidents to see if there is any connection. We're not leaving these stones unturned. I don't want to quote him now or anything. I don't want to insinuate anything that he didn't mean, so I will get back to you on it. But the impression that I had was that they didn't think that there was anything that, you know, this was a case where there's links between what might have happened to Chloe and other reports of incidences in the past. I would be loath to find out if that they are not aware of what happened at Monkey Mia, and that they aren't running that intel. And yes, it would surprise me. So maybe this is the person. But let's bear in mind, you know what? There are a lot of these people out there, people that will want to film young boys. There is such a thing, their term, not ours, as the virtuous pedophiles, the ones that know they'll never act, they don't act, they perhaps see their pedophilia as their sexuality, just like some people like to say that they are demisexuals, pansexual, heterosexual, homosexual. You know, it's a sexuality. So I just thought I would let you know about that incident. So October the 4th for that incident. 4.5 hours north, so not very far, at Quabba Blowholes on October the 15th. That's when Cleo disappeared. I'm wondering, there will be CCTV down at Monkey Mare, and what these campsites and these resorts, holiday grounds do is they always get people's registrations. So I'm wondering if there's going to be someone who's stayed in both places, if there's any sort of cross-reference there. Also at places like Monkey Mare, they're possibly, maybe they would accept cash for the payment of the daily stay, but they might actually want to take credit cards in the way that a motel might. I'm not sure what the setup there is. I haven't looked into that properly yet for me. But I imagine just on this type of data alone, I feel that part of what the task force Rodia should be doing, not to tell them, and I'm sure they're doing this, is up and down that coast, the Coral Sea coast, we call it the Coral Sea. They should be cross-referencing and seeing if there's a vehicle registration or a name that is showing up in all these spots. And have they been moving up from Perth? Have they just been jumping around up and down the coast of the Coral Sea? I don't know, but it seems to me that that would be a particularly important line of inquiry. Okay, so I'll leave it there. What do you think?